Let's face it, if you're a Gen Z or a millennial and you follow the traditional path that the majority of people blindly follow, you're going to be screwed financially. I know that might seem like a broad generalization, but stick around and I'll show you why. For one, you weren't taught about money and you weren't taught how to invest money and build your wealth. Can you imagine graduating with honors and you don't know what was a mortgage? Well, guess what? That was this little guy right here. So on top of that, you have a rising cost of living, you have a rising competition for jobs, and you have a rising cost of education. And on top of that, everybody wants a nice iPhone, they want a MacBook to go with it, and they want a nice whip to top it all off. So not only that things are more expensive, but people also want the nice cool stuff to go with it too. But guess what? One thing is not keeping up with all of this. Income and wages, they're not moving. They are stagnant. Good luck if you get a salary increase that is more than inflation at any given point in time. And this is beating a lot of millennials bad. But at the same time, after putting in so much work to get where you are, you also want to live a good life. So every time you get paid, you spend on things that don't pay you. So you get caught up in what people call the rat race, because every time you get paid, you pay your bills, and every time you make more money, your expenses magically go up too. So you stay in the same spot and keep on spinning your wheels faster and faster, and at the same time you're not making any progress on your finances. So I'm going to be pulling up my whiteboard right now to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So according to salary survey, the most typical income in Jamaica is about $1.53 million. So I'm going to be saying you're lucky and you're getting 1.7 million per year. But guess what? You don't get all of that money. Guess who's going to take their little cut first? The government. Before you see anything, the government is going to ensure they collect their portion. So the government is going to be taking a nice little fat chunk of $565,250. Now, this is going to be broken down into PAYE tax, which is 25%, NHT and NIS tax, which is 3% respectively, and education tax, which is 2.5%. So in total, you're going to be paying 33.25%. And a lot of people are leaving college without knowing this information, and then it becomes a total shock to them. They have to be paying so much taxes, 33.25%. That's a lot. So you're going to be left with $1,134,750, which works out to $94,562 monthly. And if you follow traditional financial planning, you're going to be spending, and if anything is left over, then you're going to be saving that amount. So your finances may look something like this. So the first thing you're going to need is roof over your head. So you're going to be spending like say 20,000, and I'm going to be really conservative here. Now, assuming you didn't see my video on how to leave college debt free, you're going to have, let's say, $12,000 in student loan to be repaid, and you're going to need a little car. And assuming you didn't see my video on how much a car truly costs in Jamaica, you're going to be getting a little beat up car, and that's going to run you around $20,000 per month in car payment. And this one here, you can't run from it. You have to pay some bills, light, water, internet, you name it. And if you love Netflix, you're going to have to pay some Netflix, and some people have even Disney on top of that. So you're going to have to pay those bills. So let's say those bills are going to cost you around $12,000 per month, because you're going to be trying to save and cut back. And we can't leave out this is the part here, entertainment. You have to include some entertainment, smoking, drinking, gambling, whatever entertainment is for you. So that's going to be about another 15 grand per month. So if my math is correct here, you're spending around $94,000 per month, and you're only getting $94,562. Now you see where you're cutting it really close. This is really close. So you have no money left over for emergencies, you have no money left over for fancy vacations, and most importantly, you don't have any money left over for your investing. Now we have one little problem here. If you have one small emergency, as a matter of fact, that's not a small problem, that's a big problem. If you have one little emergency, you're done, you're finished, you're screwed. It's a game over. Now with this kind of financial planning, you're going to need more money, and guess where you're going to have to turn to that money? The banks. The banks. So you just get sucked into the rat race, and then you just have to keep on working and paying bills, and when you can't make your ends meet, you have to turn to the banks to help you out. Now you're playing the payment game and you're never gonna get anywhere financially, and this is why they call it the rat race, because you're stuck in a circle, running and never making any form of progress. You're just at one place not moving, and this can lead to frustration, stress, and mental health issues. I used to believe that school failed us, but I don't believe school really failed us. School is performing its function, which is to produce employees, and it's doing that over the years. No, unfortunately, there's no time to complain about the problems, but fortunately, there's a lot of things that you can do thanks to the internet. So you have to start by understanding that there's an issue, and before it gets better, it might just get a little bit worse. And secondly, you have to start going out of your way to learn the things to become financially literate. My number one place I recommend you to start is The Richest Man in Babylon. If you have not read that book yet, I encourage you to check it out. You can watch it on YouTube, as well as you can buy it on Amazon. And maybe you can get it in a bookstore that is close to you. So if you blindly follow the system that the average person out there is following, you are going to be screwed financially. And over here, we don't do and think like the average person out there. So another great thing you can do is just check out some of my other videos. I've done a bunch of videos on personal finance and investing, money saving hacks, and you should definitely check them out. Now, on top of not making a lot of money, this is another thing that a lot of millennials and Gen Z are struggling with. They're struggling with getting full-time employment. A lot of these employers out there, when they employ these Gen Z and millennials, they're giving them 6-month contract, 1-year contract, and they just keep on renewing it. So when employers keep on doing this, it is young professionals has no choice but to really delay their future in terms of like family planning. If they want to take out a mortgage, they have to be waiting because they are uncertain of an income. So millennials and Gen Z have a lot of things that are working against them right now. They are not getting a lot of income, shortage of jobs, and 3, they are not getting full-time contracts from their employers. So they are not really benefiting from the additional things that a full-time contract come with versus a part-time contract. So right now you have a whole lot of millennials out there without even a pension plan, and I'm not even going to talk about that, because pension in the past and pension today are 2 different things. So Gen Z and millennials, you have to be financially smart and financially literate. And we are not in the industrial age anymore, we are in the technological age. So the things that work in the past don't necessarily work today. So you have to leverage technology and get ahead financially. There's a whole lot of